It's good to see you guys again. In today's video, we're going to go over the general return requirement, specifically about the taxpayer's identification number, also known as TINT, and all the different types. Also, how do you need to have a specific TINT to claim certain credits, especially the child tax credit and the earned income credit. To put it simple, the TINT is a social security number, a SSN. But they also can be an individual taxpayer identification number, also known as ITINT, or adoption taxpayer identification number, known as ATINT. You are generally required to provide your SSN, your Social Security, on all parties on your return, including each dependent's claim. ITINT or ATINT could be used in place of a Social Security number in certain circumstances. I will go over those special circumstances later in the video. Certain credits require all parties on the return to have a valid TINT prior to doing your return. Now we are going to go over a few credits and which TINT are required to be able to apply for the following credits. Number one, the earned income credit, child tax credit, and the additional child tax credit require a valid SSN, a social security number, only as a TINT. Very important to know. You can't put your ITINT or ATINT for these type of credits. The following are the special circumstances that I was talking about. These credits are for the dependents and American Opportunity Tax Credit. Require a valid social security, a ITINT or a ATINT. It's important to notice that the different TINTs are accepted depending on the credit. Please note, when you claim a child on your return, the child must have a taxpayer identification number by the due date of the return. Even if the child later gets a TINT, the taxpayer cannot use the child to claim these credits in their original or amended tax return. A taxpayer looking to claim these credits should obtain a TINT prior to filing their tax returns. And these are mostly their social security number that they will need to file all these tax returns. Let's clear all these acronyms. Any person who is filing a U.S. tax return is required to put down his taxpayer identification number that is clear and easy to understand. The most common identification number is your social security. However, in some cases, a person who is not eligible to be issued a SSN, a social security number, but has a tax filing obligation, the IRS issues an ITINT, an individual taxpayer identification number. Please note, people who have a social security number may not obtain an ITINT for the purpose of filing their taxes. Let's go over a few examples of people who are not eligible for a social security number. They might need an ITINT to file their taxes. People who are not residential aliens filing a child to claim for a reduced withholding rate. Not residential alien required to file a U.S. tax return. There are many combinations that you might need to file for an ITINT. If you have a specific situation, email me or hire a tax accountant to help you with this situation. Side note, the ITINT are issued regardless of immigration status because the IRS just wants you to file a tax return if you have worked in the U.S. ITINTs are for federal tax reporting only and are not intended to serve any other purpose. And the ITINT does not authorize work in the U.S. or provide illegitimate for Social Security benefits. People filing a return using the ITINs are not eligible for the earned income credit. Also, child who has an ITIN cannot be claimed as a qualifying child for the purpose of the earned income credit. It's super important. I think I went over this in the beginning that you need a Social Security number for those credits. Also, very important, any person who has an ITIN and has not used it to file a federal tax return for 3 consecutive tax years will expire on December 31st of the 3rd consecutive tax year of non-use. So if you're not using it, you might have to reapply again for it. If you guys need a video on how to file for ITINT Form W7, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and always remember, guys, to keep it simple.